This video is about defining your industry. For instance, is BMW's industry the luxury car industry, the automotive industry, or the transportation industry? The key criterion to consider is substitutability. On the demand side, how willing are buyers to substitute between different types of cars or even modes of transportation? On the supply side, are parts manufacturers able to switch production between brands of cars or even other types of machinery? Now, when BMW is trying to answer different types of strategic questions, they may need different levels of industry analysis. Consider the narrower view of the threat of Lexus developing a better battery technology for future electric cars, compared to a broader industry definition, which considers the threat of Uber developing self-driving cars and lowering the price of ride-sharing. Or another broad view of the opportunity of the government outlawing contract workers, raising the price of ride-sharing for Uber, Lyft, and others. Another area you can see this is entrepreneurs. When entrepreneurs talk about the total addressable market, TAM, they tend to use a very broad industry definition to maximize the profit potential of their new venture. However, when entrepreneurs talk about the competitive landscape, they tend to use a very narrow industry definition to minimize the number of competitors that their new ventures will face. Further, Porter's 5 forces can be influenced by where you draw your industry boundary, because it shifts what's considered inside and outside of the industry. For instance, rival products are always within the industry, while substitute products are from outside. Now, to put this shifting industry boundary into context, while you can have a narrower or broader view of your industry, you'll always have a further out external environment. This we'll get to later in our pestle analysis that includes the political, economic, sociocultural, technological, ecological, and legal forces that act from outside the industry upon it. Now, inside the industry, you'll have various strategic groups. And inside the strategic groups, you'll have firms. Now, a strategic group is a collection of firms that follow similar strategies along similar dimensions within the same industry. Competitive rivalry is always going to be greater within a strategic group than it is between strategic groups because they're fighting over the same customers. So what are some of the strategic groups that arose in our drone industry simulation in class? For instance, one was the recreational drone with a weak motor and unknown brand, but a good battery and a low price. Another was the delivery drone with a powerful motor, strong brand image, and a premium price. These two strategic groups had firms that were following similar strategies and fighting over the same customers. Now, here are a few overly simplified examples of strategic groups. You have retail stores rated on price, quality, and geographic coverage, and automotive companies on price and the breadth of their product line. Now, this is oversimplified because it's only 2 dimensions, but that makes it easy to visualize and kind of get the idea of how these different companies sort of are grouping along these 2 dimensions. Now, in reality, your strategy will tend to have many more dimensions, but that gets more complicated to depict visually. Now, another important thing to consider is industry concentration. So this will go from a spectrum on the one side of perfect competition with many small firms selling a commodity product with low barriers to entry that's going to have very low profitability because the competition will basically move all of the profits to the side of the customer. To the other side, we have a monopoly with one large firm that's able to command a large price because they have all the power. So if there is not something holding them back, such as government regulation, then they can basically charge whatever they can get away with. And then in between, you'll have a monopolistic competition, which is what we see in many industries. We have many firms, some small, some large, and product differentiation is more likely medium entry barriers. And then as you move closer to monopoly, you get an oligopoly where you have a few large firms. So there is some competition compared to the monopoly, but much less than the other two categories. Now, this ranking of concentration is often summed up in the Herfindahl's index. And this raises the importance of the dynamic strategic analysis, because industries can change. Pre-1980s, the pineapple industry was very close to perfect competition. It had many small growers, and they were selling a commodity product for very low profits. Then Del Monte introduces the GMO Extra Sweet Gold. Brighter color, sweeter, and customers loved it. Pineapple industry, post-introduction, changed dramatically, where Del Monte now commanded 70% of the market and knocked out many of the other smaller players. Finally, we have the industry life cycle. So this is how markets grow and develop. You start out with embryonic, where I have a niche market, selected products for selected markets. Participants emphasize the problem solving. Product is a solution. The technology often has uncertainties. It's new and untried. Customers don't know a lot about it. After that, you have a growing market. The markets expand beyond a niche. More competitors are entering in because the market is growing. They see that potential profit and enter. Customers have become better informed about the product, so you're not constantly explaining how it works. Then you move into a mature industry. Now, this can last for a long time, but you have a proliferation of products and services. The market's pretty saturated. An example of this would be like the cell phone industry. Market volatility in the beginnings of industry consolidation happen. So a lot of the smaller players start getting gobbled up by the larger players. Customers become more aggressive because there's less perceived differences in the product and the market saturation, so they have more buying power. And finally, you have the decline of industry, which you can see in like real cameras. So the market is contracting, and you have a lot of fallout. You have more rivalry at this because companies are fighting over the same customers. Further consolidation occurs as companies get weak from the lower sales and get bought up by their competitors. And then there's possibly an industry regeneration that can happen if there's some new technology or change in the market to research that. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you can watch another one right now and learn even more. Or subscribe for future videos. If you have any questions about this topic, leave them in the comments and they may be featured in an upcoming Q&A video.